Father Donovan had heard the rumors about the convent on the hill, but nothing could have prepared him for the smell. Rotten incense, dust, and something metallic that made his stomach turn. He was called to perform an emergency exorcism, but as he stepped inside, he realized this was no ordinary possession. The nuns were quiet. Too quiet. Sister Beatrice knelt at the altar, humming in a voice that didn't sound human. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim candlelight. The other sisters stood around her, hands clasped, heads tilted unnaturally to one side, smiling, but their smiles didn't reach their eyes. "Father," Sister Agnes whispered, "they won't listen. They've changed." Donovan followed her to the infirmary. One by one, the nuns lay in their beds, but their shadows moved on their own, twisting and crawling along the walls. When he tried to speak, the shadows whispered back, mocking him, telling him secrets about sins he had long buried. He stepped into the main hall, and the doors slammed shut. A cold wind swept through, carrying chanting in a language he didn't know. The candles flickered, and in the corners of the room, figures moved, tall, thin, faceless. The nuns joined the chant, their voices merging with the shadows. Suddenly, the floor beneath him gave way. Donovan fell into darkness, landing in a crypt below the chapel. The walls were lined with small doors, hundreds of them, each one carved with a nun's name. Behind the doors, muffled screams echoed. When he tried one, it opened into nothing but blackness, and a hand shot out, grabbing his wrist. Cold, skeletal, impossibly strong. He pulled free and ran up the stairs, but the convent seemed alive. Hallways stretched impossibly long, doors led back to the same rooms, ceilings dipped down to crush him. And always, the nuns were watching, smiling with faces that weren't theirs. In the chapel, Sister Beatrice turned fully toward him. Her head twisted until it faced backward, revealing a dark void where her mouth should be. A voice came from that void, deep and hollow. "You shouldn't have come, now you belong to us." The candles exploded in flames. Donovan screamed, clutching the crucifix, but it did nothing. The shadows surged, the nuns' laughter filled the room, and the walls began to bleed black ichor. He ran toward the door, but it dissolved into smoke. He was trapped. By dawn, the villagers noticed the chapel's silence. When they entered, the candles were burned to stubs, the altar was cracked, and the nuns stood perfectly still, their heads tilted, eyes unblinking. Father Donovan's crucifix lay at the center of the altar, blackened and charred. No one ever entered the convent again. But sometimes, when the wind blows over the hill, villagers hear chanting in soft footsteps, like a priest pacing endlessly in the darkness. Desperate to keep Marco from leaving, Isabel traveled to a remote village to find a witch who could make him love her again. The witch gave her strict instructions: add your period blood to the potion, or it will backfire. Isabel wasn't on her period, but blinded by obsession, she faked it, ignoring the warning. She poured the potion into Marco's tea. The moment he drank, a cold rage surged through her. Shadows twisted in her vision, whispers clawed at her mind, and laughter, hers, and not hers, echoed in the room. Marco looked confused, but Isabel couldn't see him. She was lost in a spiral of madness, screaming and clawing at the walls, the potion having claimed her mind instead of his heart. The witch's warning echoed endlessly in her ears. Love forced with blood not yours devours the maker.